We are all more alike than I think we realize. So why did you guys have the Asian girls speak at your Black History Month assembly?
We never are just Black Lives Matter. It's like Asian lives matter, all of these lives matter.
I have seen America at its best and at its worst. You have the audacity and the ignorance to yell at me that this is America? The video was my response to a driver who almost hit me as I was in a crosswalk on a green light in Center City, Philadelphia. Did you think that this face would not stand up against you, against racism, and against ignorance? Well, you were wrong.
I just thought your video just made so much sense and just showed what we go through.
It's not just us. I feel like a lot of Asian, Indian, Hispanics are really misrepresented because everybody sees black and white.
When we all stand together as one, the more powerful the message is going to be.
In 2016, minorities made up 40% of America. Yet you'd have never known by watching movies. The latest Hollywood diversity report examining the top 200 films from that same year shows Asians claimed only 3.1% of movie roles, Latinos 2.7%, and Native Americans just 0.5%.
There's that saying bloom where you're planted, right? But a lot of children of color that we've interviewed feel almost like weeds in some way because they've never seen their stories and faces and reflected in media. Have you had any encounters with racism?
Priya Volchi and Winona Guo are recent graduates of Princeton High School in New Jersey.
Is there any story that you'd like to share about race and culture?
They've written a textbook about race.
We want every single K through 12 classroom in the United States to be engaging in these meaningful conversations.
It was inspired by the teens' own experiences. Neither of you felt American growing up.
Yeah, we didn't. And as we've interviewed people from ages maybe 6 to 18, it's been a common thread.
I have 2 kids. They have this same face, especially my daughter. She's a carbon copy of me. I hope all of our kids have a better experience. And if you see her on the street, and if you say anything to her to suggest that she does not belong in this country, I challenge you to think again. I am Asian American, and I am strong, and I am proud, and I am speaking out against you today. Back at Benjamin Rush, after my This Is America video went viral, students in Mr. Katz's African American history class created their own powerful videos about race and being an American.
I feel like we shouldn't continue to exclude people that are oppressed, minorities.
My race is represented more than back when I was in high school.
African Americans, I would say, are probably the second best represented group in the United States.
Going to Rush is different because my last school wasn't as inclusive as this one is.
Schools and social media are very connected when it comes to talking about what it means to be a certain race.
And together, the students and I delved into a discussion about those difficult issues. This is not a conversation you guys normally have.
No, we never.
There are no judgments being made here today. There are no wrong answers. There are no right answers. I want you to be brutally honest. And honest they were.
Why do you hate me so much? Where are you coming from? Why is it that you think of me like this?
They look at my skin color and maybe assume the worst about how I can steal or hurt somebody.
People are gonna call me racist, people are gonna call me cracker. You just deal with it.
I am Hispanic, 1/2 Puerto Rican and 1/2 Colombian.
Isaiah Vargas says people often assume he's Caucasian.
I don't know how that makes me feel. On one hand, should I feel bad because I haven't been discriminated against, or should I feel good because I've been having all these privileges for not looking Hispanic?
I'm the only darker skinned Puerto Rican, and I realize that I just have had a different experience than a lot of these people.
Danae Riley is half Korean and half black.
They think that I don't really belong here. I was born here, and I'm just as American as they are.
Racism isn't natural. You're not born racist. You don't give birth to a child who just happens to hate another skin tone.
If you have self-hate in your heart, then you're going to hate others.
Children starting from the ages of 3 to 4 show signs of prejudice and stereotyping. They're already learning from the narratives around them. That's part of the reason why our focus is education.
I grew up in a really homogenous white town, and I thought especially growing up in Princeton, you would have had a different experience.
You grew up in Princeton, it's diverse, but diversity doesn't always mean inclusion.
All teachers of 11th and 12th grade students.
At Benjamin Rush, even between good friends Abria Terrell and Chastity Duffin, differences in skin tone lead to different experiences and conflicting points of view.
It's not your fault for what your ancestors did. I just don't think it should be forgotten.
I do not think slavery should be forgotten at all.
It's a ripple effect. I don't know where I'm from. I don't know where my ancestors are from. I know that I'm African American, and that's about it.
Somebody could be born at this very moment, and a black person or a Rican or anybody will hate them and say, you caused this, you did this, and that's not fair.
You kind of have to realize that white people do have an advantage in this country. They have a voice that is much bigger than anybody else's.
Not every white person is privileged. I live in Mayfair. I don't live in the quote-unquote rich neighborhood.
I think there is this idea that if you're white, racism does not impact you.
It does. It does so much. People always say white people are racist. They are this, they are that. Every race can be racist in their own way.
That's lesson number 3.
Growing up, I was given skin bleaching products because just dark-skinned girls weren't an image in media that was celebrated. We had to address the anti-blackness in our own families, but at the same time acknowledge that our parents are immigrants and have their own experiences that need to be validated as well.
I never said, but it seems like a lot of you made the assumption. What is your assumption?
White.
If you're basing something on someone's skin color, isn't that in and of itself racist?
I didn't even know that I made assumptions of people.
Yeah, I didn't realize it either.
I mean, it's kind of ironic, but I'm not gonna lie, I thought that the person was white.
Perhaps what matters is this.
It made me think, it really did.
You think maybe you'll pause now before you make an assumption?
I feel like this helped all of us. I feel like it brought us closer, all of us, listening to each other, understanding, explaining what we meant and stuff like that.
It also makes me feel good that I'm not the only one and that we all have some of the same things to work on, so that maybe I can lean on to my friends to help me.
Chastity and Abria agree to lean on each other.
I feel like if we all voice our opinions all the time and then made people feel comfortable enough to voice theirs, then I feel like something really big could help us.
We could make serious progress.
Yeah.
You think it's worth it to try?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that we all have a voice, and it's up to us to say what we feel, what we believe in.
Okay, so then we write a proposal.
To equip all of us with the tools to do that, Priya and Winona are working on their second book, this one for grown-ups too.
We all have to take this journey of racial literacy. We all have to come to better understandings of who we are and how culture, how race, how injustice impacts our relationships with everyday people.
Right after graduating from high school, they traveled across the country to collect more than 500 stories from people ages 5 to 105.
Part of our work has been reclaiming that title of American, and it's kind of a journey of perpetual learning.
At the end of the day, it all starts with yourself.
Back at Benjamin Rush, the conversation and the calls to action continue as well.
Stop thinking every Hispanic is a crack dealer. Stop thinking that every black person is going to rob you. Stop thinking that every Puerto Rican is crazy.
This is America. I am American.
See people for who they are.
This is America.
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 This is America. Esto es Estados Unidos.